In this video, I want to talk about my biohacking story and basically why I decided to learn biohacking in the first place and basically what it is. Because I know that a lot of you are going to be confused about what biohacking is and why you would even want to learn it. So stick around and make sure to subscribe to this channel because we post weekly biohacking and personal development videos, and there's a lot more stuff to come, especially in 2020. So let's get into this. What is biohacking? Well, biohacking is the idea, I guess, of improving yourself through a number of different ways. You can use technology, you can use habits, you can even use diet. And really the best type of biohacking is when you use all three of those different things. Now, I'm not going to get into grinding because grinding is a different type of biohacking which involves physically changing things and implanting things in your body. Things like tiny magnets in the tip of your fingers and LED lights in your palm and things like that. It's a different type of biohacking, and it's not the type that I want to focus on because grinding is very much unregulated, in many ways unsafe, I would argue, especially when you start looking at these people that are doing gene modification using CRISPR and things like that. So the type of biohacking that I like to do and that I have been doing for the last few years is just traditional biohacking. I guess you could say things like improving my diet, looking at habits, finding ways of optimizing what I'm doing, whether that's my routine, the order I eat things in, or even just what I physically do in each given day. So the story started for me when I was a teenager. And I was just obsessed with the idea of what if I could become something better? What if I could improve in, subtle ways, but also in bigger ways as well? What if I could improve how I feel by changing what I'm doing? And I know this sounds a bit simple and probably a bit obvious, I guess, to most people. But for me, it changed everything. I learned about things like meditation. I learned about things like binaural beats, exercise and how it affects the brain, diet, and predominantly a plant-based diet as well. I learned about all these different things and I started to form a picture of what I wanted to become, and biohacking was a way of getting there. It was a way of actually realizing that dream and basically improving my body to the point where it was exactly what I wanted it to be. And I'm not there yet. I still have a load of fitness goals, a load of health goals that I want to achieve. But biohacking has enabled me to massively improve how I feel, how I perform, and how I'm able to focus on things throughout the day. But also just my life quality in general has improved by doing these things. So what things am I actually talking about? Well, there are several things that I've experimented with over the years. So I guess my story is a lot of trial and error. There have been a lot of times where I've tried something not knowing whether it's going to work or not, and it has actually turned out to work most of the time, but there have also been some experiments which didn't work, some failed experiments with biohacking. So the most obvious one I want to start with is just changing things about my daily routine. Things like whether I have a hot or a cold shower. Having a cold shower has been shown to do all sorts of things. You can improve your immune system, your blood circulation gets better, your health starts to improve, and you start noticing more energy as well. On top of all of that, you actually find that it's easier to fall asleep. You also wake up with more energy. There's a load of benefits to cold water therapy. And I'm sure you've seen people like Wim Hof who really take this to the next level. And he does things like climbing mountains without a shirt on and things like that. Well, I've not done any of that. But what I have done is I've experimented with biohacking, and I've tested things like cold showers, cold baths, meditation in the morning, gratitude, and all of these really powerful habits, which when you do them, they really make a difference to your life. And that has been the start of my story. I started in personal development, meditation, and motivation, and just generally trying to improve myself and my life. And that's led me down to where I am now, which is where I have a biohacking website. I make these videos. I generally try and share this information with as many people as possible. because I'm really passionate about helping you feel better, helping the world learn about biohacking. And I'm sure a lot of my friends think it's weird or even nerdy, you know, the lengths that I go to even just get a small boost in productivity and motivation. You know, I will try many different things. And I've been experimenting with nootropics, which are called, it means smart drugs, and all sorts of other things, cognitive enhancers, brainwave therapy, ultimately just a big variety of things that I truly believe will help me reach my goals. So on this channel, I'm going to be sharing the most effective, the most popular biohacks with you guys and how they work. So what can you expect next? Well, I'm going to be making a lot more videos about biohacking. I'm going to be explaining more about my story, more about the techniques I've been using, and just in general, I want to give you as much information about this as possible, because I feel like biohacking is still fairly new. Not everything is known about biohacking. There's still a lot of questions that are unanswered, and especially with things like medicine, supplements, diet, and even habits, there's a lot of research that hasn't actually been done yet. So there's a lot of people that are just not sure, for example, what the best diet is, or which nootropics actually work, or even which habits are the most effective and which ones are just pointless. So I'm going to be sharing loads of tips. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I post weekly biohacking videos. I'm also on all social media networks. You just need to search for TranscendYourLimits and look for the little blue logo with the lines going across it, and you'll find much more of my content there. So lastly, I just wanted to share a couple of dangers of biohacking. And I think this is important to realise, you know, I mean, this is my biohacking story, but there are some other experiences which are not as good. My story is generally pretty good. You know, I've tried this stuff and I've experimented and I found the best biohacks that seem to work really well for me. But there are lots of people who don't have as good luck with biohacking. Especially people who do things like grinding, where they try and implant physical things into their body like RFID chips or magnets. There are lots of horror stories associated with that. So luckily my story's been pretty good, but here are some biohacking warnings that you might want to pay attention to. So number one, if you're going to try a new supplement, always make sure you do your own research way before you even buy it. You're looking to see if it's going to interact with anything that you're already taking. Especially if you're taking a big nootropic stack, you want to make sure that the new nootropic that you want to try is not going to interact badly with what you're already taking. And this is a big one, especially if you've got a massive stack of nootropics and supplements that you're taking. You really need to make sure that you're testing each one individually. It's easy to just take everything at once, but then if you do that, you don't know which one is actually giving you the good or bad results. So especially when you're testing a new nootropic or a new supplement, try and only take that thing for a week. So another way of dealing with these, I guess, dangers of biohacking is just to keep a journal. Start writing down what you're actually doing and what effect it's having, especially with supplements, especially with diet. You know, try and keep a journal every day where you write down exactly what you've taken, whether it's a supplement or a piece of food or whatever, and the effect that it had on you. How did you feel afterwards? And what effect did it have on your productivity, your cognitive function, the way you're able to articulate thoughts and speak to other people, and how you felt in general, as an overall picture, how you actually felt within you. That's really important, and that's going to negate a lot of the negative effects and side effects of biohacking. If you actually write down what you're doing and what effect it had, that's going to make a huge difference to you. And lastly, just remember, this is a new field of study. There's not a huge amount of research that has actually gone into biohacking just yet. So try and stick to the things that you know work. For example, we know from many studies that meditation works really well. We know that gratitude works really well in bringing you into a state of positivity and optimism. We also know that cold showers are better for you than warm showers. We know that in general, you should eat more healthy foods like plants, vegetables, seeds, nuts, that sort of thing. We also know that getting enough sleep is really important. And actually, if you were to focus on just one biohack or one thing, and then diet is probably the second most important, and then underneath diet you have things like biohacking technology, sleep tracking, supplements, nootropics, habit changing, and all of those other things. they come secondary. Your first priority should be improving the way you sleep. Your second priority should be improving what you eat. And then third, you want to look at things like exercise, motivation, reaching and setting goals, socializing and things like that. And then underneath all of that, then you would look at things like nootropics, like supplements, and like sleep technology, biohacking technology, red light therapy, and all of those other sort of fancy technology items that people have been using for biohacking. So that's really all I wanted to share in this video. I just wanted to give you a bit more of my story with biohacking and the experiences that I've been having. I hope it's been useful. If you did like this video, make sure to subscribe because I post weekly biohacking videos. And you can also just find me on any social media. Just search for Transcend Your Limits. I post pretty much daily on all of them. So check it out and I'll see you in the next video.